All right, it is 7 PM on August 20th, 2019. We're going to open the committees meeting. You do roll call, please.
Yep. Committee members Chris Samples.
Here.
John Talbot.
Here.
William Luxinger.
Here.
Dina Simpson. Here. Jen Christensen. Here. Jared Doan.
Here.
President Rick Worm.
Here.
Treasurer Brenda Onabini. Here. I, Clerk Sandy Mazem here. We do not have an attorney or engineer. Public Works Supervisor Brett Fergie.
Here.
Park Supervisor Kenny Leamer.
Here.
All right, want to entertain a motion for the July 16th meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the July 16, 2019 Committee of the Committee minutes. Bless you.
Thank you. Second.
Dina makes a motion to approve the July 16th, 2019 committee meeting minutes. Jared seconds. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
Passes 7 PM. All right, well, does anybody have any questions on the water or fuel reports?
I did not.
Not hearing them, we'll move on. Discussion of draft ordinance regarding President Pro Tem, temporary chairman, and village committees. Do you want to talk about what you wanted with the Pro Tem?
Yeah. So, this past summer, while Rick was off enjoying his awesome vacation, we came upon a situation in which I needed the village president's signature, and I was not able to obtain it for the state document, and it was a little bit of a hiccup, and so I realized the solution to that is to just have a president pro tem in all absences of the president, so that when the state comes knocking for signatures again, we have somebody eligible to do so. So the ordinance before you simply just reiterates and gives you the authority to appoint one for a longer period of time. It does not appoint anybody, so that would have to be done separately. This is just the first step in making that a possibility. The temporary chairman is the same thing, but a temporary chairman does not have the authority of a president pro tem. So in Rick's absence, we currently appoint a president pro tem to give them the authority to sign all the ordinances and resolutions as well. But it is simply for the length of that meeting and the stuff accomplished in that meeting. So a temporary chairman would not be eligible to do those things. They would simply just run the meeting. And then the village committees, back in '94, I believe, was the last time that we actually set forth the committees. So this is just updating our ordinances to match the current committee structure.
So on the discussion end of it is, do you want to appoint a specific person to be president pro tem, so that in my absence, they can sign documents other than those involved in a meeting?
Do we have to specifically state a person to be assigned that?
It would probably be a role rather than a person.
It would be
Okay.
It would be a role. However, we can even limit the length of time. So a separate resolution would be adopted saying appointing the streets trustee for a term of 6 months to that role.
Okay.
And then when that term expires, we'd have to re-adopt it. So it would just be a revolving role as to who this board felt could fill that role at that time.
If I'm not mistaken, the meeting in question was awarding street contracts. You were on vacation and I was the president pro tem, and then it was, how do we sign them and how do we move forward to make sure it was signed
That was on
legitimately?
EPA.
It was the DCEO grant. We had to have the documents in by the 31st and you happened to be on vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the draft ordinance, why does it mark out village trustees and put corporate authority in there?
I'd have to look as to which reference you're talking to. Do you know what page that is?
Nope.
Let me look.
You'll find that in 6 months, they'll change it back to,
Hey,
I just wondered, because first of all, I'm not 100% sure what the corporate authority is.
that's just the board of trustees.
Yes.
It's the government body.
So what's the difference between village trustees and
oh,
corporate
Flavor of
authority?
the month. Whatever they decide to call us.
yeah, that's exactly what it is.
All right.
Yeah, the preference is to call us the corporate authority
Alright.
during this decade, but next decade, that's gonna change.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I thought maybe it encompassed somebody else, and that's why they changed it.
No.
Otherwise, it seems kind of...
Some attorney came up with a new legal term and to
Billion
make
other
their-
250.
You got it.
All right.
still think about it. We can discuss it now. We can, get it, and we'd rather discuss it now than get it to the point of motion and second and discussion, and then we get all the, or we can bring it back to another committee in 2 weeks and,
Well,
Are you anticipating a need for that?
well, there should be somebody appointed.
there should be somebody. I mean, just in case.
Well,
There has
well,
been.
hit by a Mack truck?
We've gotten along without, we've gotten along without it for all
What
these
you're,
years.
what you're missing, John, is, yeah, we've gotten along, but what we just stated 5 minutes ago was, in the times that we've gotten along, we needed to sign, during that meeting where we quote-unquote got along, and I was appointed the president pro tem, I couldn't sign the DCO grant, which was a time-sensitive document.
It got rejected, right?
I have no problem with William being mayor pro tem, if that's where we're
Well,
going, it doesn't matter. I support him,
It'll be
Trust
something
his
that the
judgment.
board will decide at whatever time we decide to do it.
This is just putting the authority to make that decision in place. This is not making that decision. This is just making sure that when you guys are ready for that decision and we move forward with this, that we can then move on to the next step.
I can't make that decision, so that is something, that this gives you guys the authority to make that decision in my absence, or for my absence.
Well, just in case you got hit by a Mack truck.
I would put a big dent in the truck, though.
Well,
Maybe even break the fiberglass front end.
you just never know what's gonna happen, and you should have somebody that can fill the spot, or
Exactly.
fill, you know, and I don't mean on a permanent basis, I'm just saying on, you know, somebody to sign.
It would give you somebody that could sign, if, in the event of my untimely death, it would give you guys the,
It doesn't even have to be your death, you could recover, it just may
my
take,
incapacitation.
take forever.
It would give you somebody in that role until it could be filled.
Right.
Yeah, and as I said, it doesn't even have to be for long periods of time. You guys can choose how long you would
Awfully
like
morbid
to
tonight.
somebody to follow.
Okay. Do you wanna move forward with it if you read it, do you wanna move forward with it next meeting? Do you want some more time to read it, and we'll discuss it in 2 weeks?
I already read it. I don't mean,
I don't have an issue with
I
it.
don't need to
move
discuss
forward
it
with
again.
next meeting.
Get on the next one. All right,
Oh,
BZC resolutions.
Glenda's gonna need a microphone.
We had a
Oh,
resident
wait,
apply
good.
for
I lost
solar
it.
panels to be installed on the roof. And we held a, public service meeting. A public hearing, to discuss the matter. A representative from the company came out, and then the homeowner themselves was there. And we are recommending that approval be given for resolution number 19R02, a resolution recommending approval of an application for a special use permit for 196 Autumnwood Lane.
The only question I had, and when I was reading through it, so, and I saw the transfer of, like if they were to sell the place or whatever, if somebody buys their place and they wanna take it down because they don't want solar, do they have to go through a similar process to get this stuff removed because it was a big I mean, you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean, and no, because we're also in the process of setting it up as ordinances where nobody is going to need a special use permit,
Okay,
okay? They will just need I would assume a building permit to take it down.
okay,
Because that way it's less expensive than the way it is now, but we don't have anything in place right now, so we have to start somewhere.
okay, thank you.
There is a public hearing on September 9th for what she was discussing, for the solar.
So either one of those, anybody have any issues with moving forward to the next meeting?
No, because I went through and checked everything that needed to be met.
All right. So, items not on the agenda, 1000 Illinois. Got a call from the homeowner yesterday, they're looking at selling their house, or day before yesterday, it was yesterday. They, wanted to know what the village's stance was on, just to remind us, the water retention area over in Oakville Crossings that had the cattails and the blockage of the detention pond. They wanted to know what our stance was on the, completion of that. They've been mowing the cattails, and they said they've been poisoning them, I had Brett go look at it, he said it is draining. I mean, you can tell them if you'd like what your opinion is on it.
Basically, I mean, it's still, if everybody remembers the pictures from a couple weeks ago, was it Sandy?
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar to that. You know, I actually looked at it again yesterday afternoon. So it's, you know, the cattails are growing up again. You know, the water appears to be draining, everything's moving to the south end, like Rick said. I'm assuming, I need to talk to Willett Hoffman to find out what the design of that was, what size restrictor is in there, because it took about a day to drain that water. Maybe that's design, I don't know. But it did. It was about a day and a half later, it was gone. Other than that, I mean, it's kind of doing what it's supposed to do. It's just, where do you all want to see, what is the finished product you're looking for? I mean, grass in the bottom, get down there with a lawnmower, you know, that's up to you. I mean,
Well, and then the problem arises if he does sell his house.
Mhm.
The questions he was bringing up this night before the meeting was, you know, there's the possibility of, are we looking to lien the properties? Are we just gonna, you know, if he moves, I mean, he moved into that mess. He didn't do that mess, but unfortunately, it's was part of his responsibility. So whoever buys it is gonna fall into that same situation where they need to keep it mowed, even though the other property out there is the one that did the work and needs to be the one responsible for restoring it. Just need to know,
I
so
don't,
we can tell these folks.
he did say that 90% of it was the other guy's property and only 10 was his. I don't know if that makes any difference, but
They're jointly responsible.
I wanna know what Willett Hoffman has to say, 'cause
Yeah,
we
has
did ask
everything
him- we
been
did ask
done
him
that
to
we
look
have
at it.
asked
No.
No.
out there now?
Well,
I mean,
like,
for him.
like Fergie explained last week, there's still trees up on the berm, but is the board okay with leaving those trees on the berm? They're not,
Did we ask him to remove the trees? I don't recall
we
that.
did.
Did we? Alright.
We asked them to put it back to the condition in which
Oh,
it was
I see.
originally, and those trees were not there. But last week, the board didn't really give an opinion on if they wanted those trees gone or just leave them. Fergie said, you know, they're not disturbing anything, and he's already told the homeowner that if they have to go in there to do work, they're pulling them,
Right.
not putting them
Pull 'em
back.
out, we won't replace them.
I mean, it's my personal
I think
opinion
that's
that
fine then.
this gentleman didn't do it. I mean, I understand the responsibility part of it. We should put that onus on the person that did do the work and not worry about this guy. I mean, he's been trying, he's been helping. I don't know if I would go after him for it as much
He
as.
said he hasn't sold,
No, he's
No,
looking.
it just still for sale?
possible offer maybe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he said possibly tomorrow.
but if they have to, his fears, he has to reveal that there's
Well, he's obligated to do that.
right, that there could be a possible lien, but that would be on him, not on the new homeowner.
John left at 7:13.
The trees, they're not an obstruction to the drainage, right?
No, they're all basically in the berm, starting about halfway up the berm and then going all the way up to the top, down the other side, but they're not doing anything with restricting any flow of water,
Alright.
anything like
It makes it harder to mow.
that. Yes, it does.
That's their problem, though.
Yes.
They're the ones who have to mow it.
Yep. So, we're just looking for direction from you guys on what to tell these folks.
I don't wanna like stand in the way of somebody selling their house, but like Chris said, they definitely have to like, disclose that. And, I mean, it'd be no different than if you had flooding or anything like that,
Right.
you have to disclose that when you sell. I don't wanna hold them up from selling their home, but if they don't have, and again, I remember seeing on the pictures that it didn't seem like the drainage was completely uncovered, and it didn't look like that was finished, so I mean, somebody has to finish it, I just don't know who's going to do that.
Well, that'd probably be on the other homeowner, 'cause most of it's in his
That
his
whole end is
area.
on the other homeowner.
Okay.
But truthfully, before we, you know, if we made any decision, we should probably hear from Willett Hoffman, but odds are that he's not gonna be the person, or that piece of property won't be the majority person to be held
Of what the
responsible.
concern is.
Yeah, well, that's his concern. I mean, I would be concerned about it too.
I would too.
So when you say you're looking for Willett Hoffman, do you want Willett Hoffman to compare it to what it was originally to what it is now? Is that kind of where you're,
And I don't remember, what did we ask them for? I thought we asked them to see if it was,
Basically, to shoot the depth is all we really were worried about,
Right.
was how much debris is built up in the bottom.
is that what we're worried about, or?
Well, and that's where, I mean, I don't wanna speak for Willett Hoffman, but if we can go in and shoot the grade to make sure the water's falling to the one end. It basically, for the most part, it is, because like I said, I went there after a rain, it was at the south end. The grade is all over the place, so, I mean, there's high spots, there's low spots, it's not a nice, perfect bottom to the pond, it's, you know, so and once again, I'm not speaking for Willett Hoffman, but if you want to involve Willett Hoffman beyond just shooting grade to get a rough idea, you're gonna have to give them an idea of what you want them to look at, not just look at the pond.
To me, I thought the board
So-
wanted it restored back to what it was, which would be a
Which would
pretty
be
smooth bottom.
And I'm assuming grass growing, everything else is my assumption?
And that was my understanding of what the board
That's what we
asked for.
talked about
Okay.
originally.
Because that's basically the one at the front of Ogle Crossing as well. I mean, it's the same setup, basically, just a little bit larger scale. So, actually, quite a bit larger, but, so,
Like a comparison
it's up to you folks.
Yeah,
To what it was originally?
I don't know, do we need that if we're if we're saying that it needs to be smooth, do we know the original depth of where we'd even need Willett Hoffman to look at it?
Willett Hoffman would have the original plan
Then I
for
guess-
that.
They would have the
Then-
design
then I
and
guess they
as-built
should-
and everything.
Then I guess they
Yeah.
should compare and see how much work, if, you know, is need to be done, or what we need to do to restore it to the original, if that's how the board wants to go. Input from board members?
Already shared mine.
I think this is a prime example of failure on this board from 15 years ago. That whole pond should have been designated its independent parcel, not on homeowners.
Yep.
However, we're beyond that.
Or would you say the same one, like, is the one up at the tracks and Junction, is that a separate parcel, or is that part of the people's yards?
That's a separate parcel.
No,
No,
not.
that's,
Oh, you
that's the
mean
yard.
Harvest Club.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a
I mean-
failure from 25, 30
Yeah.
years ago.
David said the same thing, though. He said, moving forward, whenever we get these, whenever there's a detention or a retention pond, regardless of what style of pond, it
Mhm.
needs to be separated out.
Correct.
And it needs to have more oversight by the village. And sitting in the back of somebody's yard is
But-
not something Greggy's gonna see on a regular basis.
Right, and the interesting thing is, the one at the front of Ogle Crossing is not homeowner,
Right, that's HOA.
because HOA takes care of that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like it wasn't done out there, it just was never caught,
My
probably on the one in Illinois.
opinion would be that we just return it to a functionable state, not necessarily an original state, only because this was graded, 20 years, 15 years ago, if not more. It was there before I moved in,
I wanna say it's about '01.
so
Somewhere
that's,
between
we're looking
01
at.
and
So, I'm just interested that
Between
it
01 and
does the
probably-
job it was designed to do.
Correct, that's what I mean, I want it
When-
to be a
when-
functional
when-
state,
Right.
not an original state, because you're gonna get erosion
Came in when I
over
was here.
15, 20 years.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, to claim the homeowner needs to give us a smooth bottom, I mean, give me something functional.
Did they add dirt to that?
No, we don't.
Did they?
I have no idea.
Anybody know?
I have no idea.
No, well, I'd imagine with all the, it's been,
You're
how
gonna
many
get
years it's
erosion.
been with all the
Just blocked
leaves
it up
and the vegetation dying, you're gonna get that buildup as it,
That's what I mean.
But is that really, what so far, is that, degrading the functionality? I guess maybe
so
that's what
let's
we
go
should
back
find
to this,
out.
let's go back to William's statement then. So originally the board said they wanted it back to original state. Are we okay with it going back to a functional state
I
instead?
believe so.
I mean, it's functional now,
Technically, yes.
it needs to keep being mowed.
But when I mean function, I mean not the cattails, and
Right,
I'm okay with the trees on the berm, even though I know it's wrong and on all that, but
but we're okay with it.
Well, what state of functional is it? Is it, if we get a heavy rains, it's gonna still function fine? It's gonna hold it?
I mean, I can't say yes or no. I mean, I'm assuming what I witnessed the other day was the water moved to south. I can't tell you that
Give
that
me your
pond is,
best guess.
you, on an
possibly,
average
yes.
rain,
All right.
Seven.
Let me-
average, yes. If you're gonna get the 50-year, the 100-year rain
Yeah.
or flood, it's not gonna hold, because it's small and tiny.
Yeah, all right.
So my question is, if you don't mind me asking a question, we're referring to functional state, everything else. So unless they end up figuring out how to beat the cattails, let's take this spring as an example. They couldn't get in there for months
Right.
upon months
Right.
upon months because of it being underwater. The cattails grew, they were crazy. What do we do then?
They're gonna have to tame them.
Well, and I mean, the
I mean-
cattails, those should be gone, in my opinion.
But that's what they're struggling with right now. So that's what I'm saying.
I think with functional, they need to get rid of the cattails. They need to keep
Yeah.
treating them until they're gone.
What is the definition of functional then,
Functional
so I
means
know where
it
to go?
retains water when it needs to, and it drains when it's supposed to, and you can get in there and maintain it on a
Okay.
regular basis.
There's no
Okay.
massive vegetation growth.
Okay,
That's my opinion, I mean.
Yep.
that
That's,
you-
again, that's what we're looking for from the board, so.
yep, that's what I'm saying, I'm just looking for direction on,
It
you know, how to
retains
go
when it's
about it.
supposed to, it drains when it's supposed to, and you have access to it on
Okay,
a regular basis,
Well,
other
I mean, we
than
don't need
during,
Hoffman to tell us that.
crazy weather,
Correct.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Sure, so that shouldn't be an issue. I don't,
Okay.
I think that's fine. Your description is fine with me.
John?
I missed most of the conversation, just, in a nutshell, what
Originally, we said we wanted it back to original state. Now, the question is, do we want to just get it back to a functional state, to where it drains, there's no massive vegetation growth, it's maintained inside.
the functional state would come quicker, so that would
But
make
the truth of the matter is, William was right, you know, it's been 15 years. It's far from its original anyway, so,
just get it to flow and not do
Right.
bad stuff.
well, do what it's supposed to do, what it was
Right.
designed to do.
And keep it maintained.
So who's making that decision and who's telling that decision to Dan Bolin?
Thank you, that was my next question.
Because Dan Bolin.
I'll send a message to Dan. If you guys give me that direction, I will happily do
Well, no,
it.
no.
Yeah, but who's making the determination?
Who's going to make the determination, go and look at the pond and determine what still needs to be done, and then
So-
transfer that
I
information?
would say that would be
to
a
Bolin?
conglomerate of Willett Hoffman and.
Okay, that's what I was gonna
I
ask.
can
that.
work
Do-
with Brett. I mean, I don't think, I agree with Chris. I don't think we need Will Hoffman to tell us
No.
that.
Okay.
I mean, the cattails are dead,
You're
it's being
comfortable.
mowed.
We're okay with that.
Well, what I'm saying is, do you at all want, do you want overall grade shots throughout that thing to confirm what it's doing?
If it's
Um,
draining,
Okay,
I would say use your best judgment, and if you
Plus
feel
you
we
and
need to
I-
shoot grade.
when we determine it's there, then I'll send a message to Dan,
So you two are gonna make that determination and let Dan know.
if that's okay with the board.
It is with me.
Fine with me.
It is,
All
Are you
right.
comfortable with that?
I guess I am, yes.
There you go.
no.
Well, it's not gonna.
Be honest, I mean.
I'll make it easy on you. It'll be my decision. We'll just go look at it together.
Seriously, please be honest. If
No,
you're
no,
tell-
no, I
If
just,
you're telling us we're making a bad decision,
By all means,
I will take your educated opinion and I will
Where-
stand
where
behind
I'm
it,
going
because
with
I'm
this-
not a public works guy.
no,
so-
where I'm going with this, William, is I don't know what the original design of this pond was, so
Sure.
I can't compare it to anything but
Sure.
what I see there. So I don't know.
and but
I have to have a point to where I can say, okay, this is what it's supposed to look like, this is what it
so
looks like now.
without that, based on current
That's what concerns me,
current things, saying they want it to drain,
yes.
they want it mowed, they want the cattails dead.
Mm-hmm, Yep.
And it's smooth.
And here's a
Some-
2009 GIS photo.
yeah. Bad did it look then. So, no, that was my only concern, is I don't really have anything to base it, you know what I mean, what it should be. So, if we wanna run with, you know, what you guys wanna do, that's fine with me.
Yeah, well,
I'm fine with that.
what it originally was is not what it's going to be.
No,
so,
I understand,
yeah.
I understand.
Design,
Yeah.
oh, it's not public.
Okay. All right, then that's what we'll do.
Okay,
I'll let Dan know. On to clerk.
There's a FOIA report. I have not received any FOIAs. Not on the agenda, we had the Black Pearl coffee truck that is usually stationed in Byron come into the village and ask, if they found a property owner who would let them be stationed here in the village 2 days a week, if they could come into the village. He's looking for like a Tuesday or Thursday morning, twice a week, and he wants to kind of see how it goes. He's hoping to get the commuters going along 72 or 251. So this morning when I was talking to Dan about a bunch of other things, I just tossed this one at him too. And he said that our zoning code does allow for a temporary use, with restrictions given by the village board. So it would start off a very temporary use. But the restrictions that the village board gets to put on are hours and days of operation. If you have any public safety concerns or traffic concerns or conflicting with other temporary uses or parking. So kind of what I'm looking for you guys this week is, one, are there any objections to that? And two, what kind of restrictions would you guys be interested in so that Dan can draft a letter for you guys for next week?
Did they have a thought of where they're looking?
They do. They are looking at the fire department. They have reached out to the chief. They are waiting to hear back from him. That their ideal spot would be the parking lot for the fire department.
Totally
That'd be
do
a good
not
spot.
have any objections, because I think it would be extremely,
Great.
Right.
if he can be successful, it might lead to a new business or permanent structure. I mean,
Yeah.
All right.
Do you have any any restrictions you'd like to see, hours, parking, days of
Uh,
operation, anything?
I would say probably
As
just
long as there's-
mirror the garbage, not before 6 AM.
He did tell me he's looking from like 6 to 9 or 10, and he said between 9 and 10 it really slows down, and then he usually closes up.
Does he run generator or something?
He does. If you have a chance, he will be he's currently a farmer's market vendor.
I've seen him.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
what he's,
Which one is it?
The coffee truck?
Coffee.
he's normally
Is
over
that the
by
one that does the
Sam's.
smoothies and all that too?
Yes, he does the
Okay.
smoothies and the coffee.
Oh, okay, all
Yeah,
right.
he's normally
okay.
by Sam's at the Napa Garage or
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's
He's
been
in the parking
doing
lot on the side.
Byron 2 days
Gotcha.
a week, but then he's also made it to several of our county fairs.
Fairs, yep.
And so, and like he's doing Corn Fest this weekend, and so he's out and about.
I mean, just from my personal experience, if he's got an electric generator, that's far quieter than one of them gas generators. But I'm not opposed. I like the idea. And to be honest, I mean, as long as he complies on the noise ordinance, I don't have a problem.
Look at me, I don't drink coffee.
The fire department I thought was the best spot he could be. 'Cause he can pick up
hopefully-
everybody off Junction and,
So hopefully he'll get them to agree to it too.
Like,
If not, I'm sure he will move
If
on to
not, we
another
have,
location
if
in
not,
town.
we have, we particularly own a parcel on that same block on the south side.
He actually looked at that too, and I told him we already owned that, so if he had problems to let us know. But he's hoping for the visibility to
Absolutely.
to
For
the
sure.
So I
side,
don't blame him.
so. Are there any other restrictions the board wants to see?
I can't think of any.
Okay. I'll tell Dan to do what he wants.
You need to make sure his food service license is current, 'cause he has to have one.
County
Yeah,
requirement.
that's a
Yeah.
county requirement.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, as long as we have a copy of it.
do we have a decibel rating on our noise ordinance?
We do.
So yeah, if the generator's lower than that, he's good to go.
Mhm.
Most of the food truck generators ain't that loud.
Right,
Those little Hondas are just quiet as can be.
they are.
That was all I had.
All right. Move on, treasurer.
The auditors are coming tomorrow for their first visit,
Mm.
and the preliminary, whatever they're doing tomorrow.
Auditing you.
Yeah, they're auditing, they're coming to gather information, then they'll be back in September.
You don't need a Dixon.
You don't have one.
What?
No. That's why you're in that role.
All right, that's all I have for now.
All right, on to the committees, community development and events.
We have our farmer's market coming up tomorrow night from 4 to 8. Our last yoga day is this weekend. Is that the,
Which day?
the
Sunday.
Sunday, the 25th? And
Okay.
then we have our garage sales coming up on their September 20th and 21st with the bulk garbage pickup afterwards on the 25th. Then I'm planning our fall party for October 12th and our holiday celebration for December 7th.
Did Jess give you a note?
Yeah, she did.
What time is the yoga?
I believe it's 9
9
a.m.
a.m.
'Cause she'll get this out before this weekend, so.
Yep, 9 a.m.
And that is all I have.
Okay, finance.
Only thing I have is just a reminder of IML that, Saturday night, the festivities typically end, and if you're gonna join the board for, board bonding events, if you're not, to check out, let the clerk know, or cover your night Saturday night at your own accord, your own cost.
Can I clarify when you say board bonding events, are you talking about the banquet, or are you talking about whatever everybody creates from there?
So it's either the board wants to do the banquet, or if they need to go do an event separately, whatever the board elects. I will not be there Saturday night.
That's gonna, I think really that's gonna come down to what the board wants to do with this.
Correct.
Because
You
that's
gotta
what
wait
we
for the
talked about
agenda
it
to come
before.
out. and-
Right, I mean, so it's not gonna be one person's decision on this, it's gonna be
Absolutely.
whatever the board wants to. If you guys wanna have Saturday night free to, you've attended the Saturday sessions, then you can make that decision. Otherwise, as a group, we can make the decision that if you're gonna stay Saturday night, we need to go out as a group. It could be either way, but I think we need to make that decision as a group.
Oh, I agree. I'm just saying I'd like the decision of what that thing is made before we, because, well, I'm just,
No, I understand.
in past years, there's certain things like, like, people have had conversations about things. There's just certain things that I don't mind, like, when we went to the banquet last year, and I really enjoyed myself, but I don't wanna go to a, what are those, escape, I don't wanna, I'm done with bonding like that. I just like to socially enjoy each other's company and whatnot.
Right.
And sometimes some of the things are a little far-fetched that I don't really,
And
not-
I mean,
I
this
don't
is,
dig.
this is just a reminder, the conversation does not need to be had in a board setting. It can be hashed out between the president and the clerk and individually, as long as it doesn't violate the OMA, but, it's just a reminder that it's not a free night to have a date night. It's, the village is funding the event, and that it has to benefit the village, not an individual.
Well, and if I recall, last year, we went to the banquet.
We did, and
correct.
it was actually really, really nice.
It really was.
They
It was,
don't do like
We made
speeches
some-
or anything.
we
no,
made
it
some-
was,
Oh.
We
and
made
there,
some connections with some,
Yeah.
surrounding communities and,
Yeah.
worked out some deals
and there were some really nice recognition pieces that were done that were
There was.
really phenomenal.
There was.
Yeah.
I found out I'm not the only one who listens to Ansel Blank's Forum podcast.
It was really, it was worth it. So,
With Dan?
With Dan. Well, there was actually,
David once.
I met a gentleman who was in a community just south of Chicago.
There is beneficial information to be obtained when you attend it, so,
Oh, absolutely.
but that's all I got.
Ordinance enforcement?
Nothing.
Parks?
Nothing, unless Kenny has.
Streets?
On.
Oh, I tried to blow by you.
Just couple quick things. Soccer, junior tackle, and flag football are now in full swing, so Saturdays, obviously, things will be a little bit hectic up here. Sunday is Chop Fest without alcohol. They obviously didn't get their stuff together for the beer tent and everything else, so they understand that. So Chop Fest is Sunday for the Booster Club. That should be a good time. Looks like the weather is gonna be good. And we had 9 large ash trees removed this week. So the memorial looks a little different driving down the road, and you can't really tell what it is. There were those 35, 40-foot dead ash trees there that were just an eyesore. Those are gone. We had 3 by the workout station just north of the parking lot, 2 by the soccer and football game field, and then 1 on the corner of the pavilion that were taken down this week. They were in areas where I wasn't comfortable taking them down in-house, because heaven forbid we dropped one on the memorial or the pavilion, so we had Wes's Tree Service come out and take those down this week, so that's it.
Okay, streets?
It's another one of those that really doesn't belong.
That's all right. No, it's no problem. It's part of buildings, right?
Well, it belongs to you, utilities, and parks altogether.
Oh, well, there you go. It's apparently a resolution that's because we need to buy 4,000 gallons of LP gas for 99 cents a gallon. I mean, I could read it over.
just locks in the rate. Yeah,
It
that's
actually,
it.
it
Oh,
doesn't
works
even,
for me.
yeah, it doesn't even authorize us to make the purchase per se, it just locks in the rate for the 4,000 gallons at 98.
Do we need 4,000 gallons?
We went through 3,900, or 3,800 last
Cutting it a little close there, aren't we?
This is the Public Works?
Yeah.
We really gotta get that on natural gas.
We had
Or
this,
integrated.
Fergie and Brenda and I had the discussion on that, so the 4,000 gallons, that's just locking in the rate for that. And so
Yeah,
if we go
no, I
over,
get
we
it.
just
You
go to
could
the
just pay
rate.
whatever it
Yeah.
is, whatever the market rate is at that time, which is probably gonna be higher, but I'm sure we'll be close, right?
Actually, it went lower from
Yeah,
last
so our
year.
contract
Really?
for
By the
last,
end of because
Yeah.
Last year was
because
$1.21, and we're paying 99 now.
No, that's not what I mean. Normally when you're in the middle of winter and you need extra,
Oh.
that's when it costs
Oh,
you
right.
more.
yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be an issue. I don't think you're gonna have that much difference.
Anybody have any issue with this? Put it on next week's agenda?
I do not.
I do not. I would like to see us move forward when we get in the slow season, look at options of insulating the building, just to save on this fuel purchase in the future. The building was not,
By
when we,
building new one?
when we purchased it, it was not designed for the operation that we're currently using it for. So we probably need to have a conversation on how to retrofit it, either through just a brief installation or even a small, remodel to make it functionable, and so we're not burning $4,000 in
Should be
heating.
able to do that spray foam, which is very thick and works very good.
I can't
Have we
imagine.
looked into
the
that?
co-
That stuff's terribly
Have we
expensive.
looked, no, have we looked into doing anything? I'm just saying, when.
I don't think we have yet, and
No.
that's why I called Brett earlier, and it just hasn't. I can't imagine it would cost us, more than $4,000 or $5,000 to insulate it and drywall it, or insulate and plywood it or something.
Assuming you'd save half, and then,
You got it. Over the
Recover
course
your
of 2
money.
winters,
All
we'd
right,
probably
sure.
recoup that.
go ahead.
And then, just so everybody, I'm assuming everybody here has been in that building, maybe not, but, excuse me. With the size of that building and the fact that when we first got that building, part of that was cold storage. There was, what was there, Kenny, 4 units? That we then, they removed, and now we have 2 doors back there. So the building kind of increased in size that we're heating. It is just radiant heat. There is no forced air as a primary, and then the radiant takes over. And then we keep the thermostat, it's 60 in there. It's cold in there through the winter. I mean, we're not, you're not in there working in T-shirts. So just so everybody understands,
It's floor radiant heat?
No, the long tube overhead.
the tube overhead.
Okay.
So, a lot of places that have shops that big, when you're opening bay doors in the dead of winter, you'll have a forced air that kind of takes over, brings your temp up, and your radiant kind of maintains from there, but, with the size of that shop. So when we open doors in the winter, it takes a while to get back to temp in there.
The goal,
So-
the goal would be to get natural gas out there, but what's the benefit until we insulate the building?
Right.
Right.
Yes,
It'd be nuts.
yes.
And,
Well, natural gas is
and
a
even
lot
what Brett's
cheaper.
saying right there, you look at how you're heating it, 'cause,
Yes,
in the grand scheme of things, those Modine heaters aren't that expensive.
yes.
Big hanging heater,
It's,
or gas force with ductwork, it doesn't matter how it is.
Still, it'd be better to insulate it first.
It would.
Correct.
Do you have anything else?
Nope, that's it.
The Pacific Avenue fixed, have they looked?
No, they're just gonna kind of wait to the end when they're doing asphalt work. They
All
could
right.
probably knock that out so they can pave it right away.
All right.
Yep.
Thanks. That's all I have.
Utilities?
I don't have, unless Brett has
I,
something.
I didn't get a chance to talk to you
That's
before the
all
meeting,
good.
so I was gonna let you do it and
You're just.
get all the glory, but never mind. I can't remember if I mentioned last Tuesday or not, we did pour the ferric pad. Did I mention that?
Mm-mm.
Okay, then I am now. We poured the ferric pad for the ferric, when we approved that study.
Yeah.
what's a
Define
fair pad?
Pad.
Yes, William, your question is? It's when we did the ferric study a year ago.
The wastewater treatment.
For the wastewater
plant.
treatment plant.
Ferric iron?
Yes, the ferric injection that we put into the ditch, we had to do the study. It got approved, but we had to make a permanent setup, because right now it's just sitting in a tote on the sidewalk, which is fine for the study, but not
Okay.
permanent. So we poured a concrete pad. We're gonna put one of those, you probably heard of them, the PIG, the structures that have containment built in, the plastic huts. We're pricing them as we speak. But the concrete part of it's done. All this was figured into the budget, when we were talking budget, so, because I know that's William's next question. So, just wanted to update you on that. And then, the crane will be here tomorrow for the cover. So, there will be no sleep for me tonight.
Just be careful.
So, yeah, the crane's supposed to be here tomorrow. We're gonna attempt to start pulling the cover, tomorrow. See what happens.
How many folks you gonna have out there?
It'll start out with all of us, which there's not many of us, so,
It'd be like a party.
yeah. So, it'll be probably just 3 or 4 of us. So,
Just please do me a favor and have a talk before you start about crane safety, stuff overhead.
oh, yeah. I think, I'm assuming the operator does that as well, because it's not their people, you know what I mean?
Nice to have a little tailgate before you start.
Yes, so,
So we have an update on the press? What's
I
going
was
on?
just gonna remind Fergie.
okay, I didn't know if you wanted to, okay, I'll say
Oh,
it if
you
you
want me to talk about it?
No.
Oh,
I
you
did all
don't,
the
you
work
wanna
here.
take
I
the
wanna talk
glory?
about it,
All
Sandy.
right, you
All right.
take the glory.
What do you say?
We got a verbal, on the press, the sale of the press. So nothing in writing, I confirmed it today. Spectrum Meats, Rude Butchering, Pines Road, anybody familiar with that? Kevin Rude?
Good.
Okay, he is what, Sandy? Go
I
ahead.
think you should make like a drum roll or something before you get to the price
Oh.
part.
Right now it was 20,000.
Woo!
That's what we sold it for, 20,000.
Sold.
Yes, yes.
Nice.
So,
Very good.
Good.
What's that?
That's not show our enthusiasm, this is a public meeting.
So like I said, there's nothing, he's doing a big expansion there, so it might be a couple weeks before it's gone possibly. But he did tell, we're dealing with IPR. IPR is kind of the middleman on this, and I called Tim Braun, this morning, and he said, yes, he said Kevin did say that he wants it. It just may take him a little bit to get it out of here, while he's working on this big project, so.
That's really the more
Cross your
exciting
fingers.
part.
Ask him if he wants that cover too.
We'll throw it in.
Yep. So, that's, I think that was it, wasn't it, Sandy?
Yeah,
That's
really
awesome.
the press was the most exciting
Yes,
part.
it was.
Because
It was.
that hopefully it'll get out of here before winter.
Oh, it will be out of here before winter, I just, so, don't worry about that. And that's about it for me.
Thanks.
There's two suckers in that state.
Every minute, according to P.T. Barnum.
Oh, lamb.
Anything further, Dina?
I do not.
Anything on unfinished business? Public? Entertain a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Dunn makes a motion to adjourn, Jared seconds. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. We are adjourned at 7:41.